Creamy, cheesy, and cooked to perfection, it doesn't get much easier than this Instant Pot Ziti. Hi mindful moms and dads, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. And today's recipe proves just that. I am so excited to share with you today's recipe because it's speaking my love language, pasta. But not just any old pasta, we're talking about creamy, cheesy, baked ziti-like pasta. You guys are gonna love this recipe too because it couldn't be easier to make. So let's put on our kitchen capes and make Instant Pot Ziti. As I stated, this recipe is so easy. It's literally a dump and go recipe, but yet it delivers incredible flavor. It's really important though how we layer our ingredients so that we can ensure our pasta cooks perfectly and we avoid a burn notice. You can start this recipe by sauteing up some ground beef or Italian sausage. I'm skipping that today and keeping it super easy, which is perfect for those busy nights of the week. I'm starting this recipe with 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. You could certainly use chicken broth if that's what you have on hand. You could even use water, but broth is going to make our pasta more flavorful because our pasta is going to absorb the liquid it's cooked with as it's pressure cooked. To my inner pot, I'm also adding in 1/2 cup of dry red wine. Now, if you don't drink wine, don't worry. You just need to use another 1/2 cup of broth. And if you're using the wine, be sure to use a good quality drinking wine like Cabernet or Merlot, anything you like. I'm also adding in a pinch of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, and a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. The red pepper flakes are totally optional, but it does add a nice kick of flavor. Now for the pasta, I'm using a 16-ounce box of dry ziti, but you could really use any pasta you like rotini or cavatappi, anything that's gonna hold on to the sauce. And now for our tomatoes. I'm adding in a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I'm using petite diced tomatoes because if you follow my channel, you know my son hates the texture of diced tomatoes. But I can get away with using petite diced tomatoes in this recipe and he doesn't complain. I'm also adding in 24 ounces of spaghetti sauce. I'm using my homemade spaghetti sauce, but any jarred sauce works well. Just gonna spread our sauce evenly over our pasta. And now to make our pasta creamy, almost like lasagna, I'm dolloping ricotta cheese right on top of the tomato sauce. I'm using about 8 ounces of ricotta cheese and just spacing it evenly over the sauce. That's it. I told you it was easy. We're gonna pop our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure our vent knob is pointed towards sealed. And now let me give you my formula for perfectly cooked pasta using the Instant Pot. The cooking time suggested on the box of pasta, you wanna cut that in half. For my ziti today, it was the cook time of 10 minutes. So I'm cutting that in half and cooking for 5 minutes on high pressure. If your box of pasta said 12 minutes, you'd cook for 6 minutes. You wanna cut the cooking time in half, and then after the cooking time has elapsed, let the pressure release for 5 minutes, no matter what kind of pasta you cooked. Then you wanna do a quick release of pressure by using the back of a wooden spoon or a long utensil of some sort. Stand back from your vent knob and knock your venting knob from the sealed to the venting position. Once the pressure has been fully released, I'm gonna open up your Instant Pot. It smells absolutely incredible in here, but I know it doesn't look too appealing yet. We're gonna finish off our pasta by adding in some cheese. I have about a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Give that a stir just to melt the cheese and incorporate that ricotta all into our pasta. Looks like my cheese is already melted. If your cheese did not appear melted, you could pop your lid back on your Instant Pot for just a couple minutes, just until the cheese is melted through. And then I'm gonna grate some fresh Parmesan over my pasta because everything's better with fresh Parmesan. Ready to dish it out here. The pasta is perfectly cooked. It's creamy, it's cheesy. It was ready with what, 5 minutes of prep? Less than that. It really doesn't get much better than this dish. But if you're looking for more of a classic Italian favorite, be sure to catch my next recipe where I share with you how to make Instant Pot lasagna. Until then, happy cooking. I gotta go in for more.